Wouldn't it be great if you had three powerfully good ways to navigate your unretired life instead of having to watch yet another one of those awful gloom and doom retirement crisis videos? Well, if you click through to me, you're in the right place. So buckle up and here we go. So here's how to navigate your unretired life in three powerfully good ways. I'm Art Johnson, and my company is New World Communications. That's me. So I can't overemphasize how important it is. This is really the great place to really begin. If you're going to take this as the first pass at navigating your unretired life, or as another pass to really make it more effective. So learning is key here. And what we're talking about, first of all, is learning more about your situation. You might think you understand what your unretirement life could look like, but and what the whole parameters are, but you need to learn more. I need to learn more about my situation, about the all the different things here, all the challenges as well as the opportunities. And that takes learning. And so one of the ways, as you're thinking about navigating your unretired life, is to think fresh, to think what you really cared about. Maybe when when you're working in your second ebb life, you accepted a job, but you had a passion for doing something else. Maybe it was a passion for music or art or poetry or being a writer, or maybe running your own business, or doing some things that you have a choice to make now with better learning. So we have a way to learn about that, and stick to us to the end of this, because we have a special resource for you to do this exercise with yourself. I'm going to go over how I did it with mine and how great it's helped me. Also, you need to learn more about net new 21st century possibilities. There are many, many things going on. One of which is I can really help you with is walking through the virtual door. Since 1997, when I first started making websites and doing e-storefronts, I then learned that I could actually meet inside of websites that I could create using first generation, second generation, and the latest web conferencing. So there's some new ways, and this is really important because this is new ways to work. Thank goodness to COVID, because it introduced people going on to Zoom. I'm doing this on Zoom, by the way, which is very cost effective way to do this. You could also learn more about addressing challenges as opportunities through what I'm calling enlightened business development. I'm enrolled in a course about, really succeeding on YouTube, and it's all about enlightened business development. They don't use that, but the whole way that you get people to watch and, subscribe and all that is really, really based on an enlightened business development approach. And so it's also related to learning how to plan to succeed through service to yourself and others in our 21st century world. We're going to talk about treating yourself better, because a lot of us, as we get we get older, then we internalize a certain amount of ageism, a disrespect, because we think, oh well, they don't want me anymore. I don't want myself anymore. I'm no use. So, all of that, some real negative stuff. So we're gonna focus on that and do a whole approach that is very redeeming and very, very powerful. So, and the bonus option that we're doing, and we'll turn around and we're going to learn it and master YouTube programming and channel development. We're no longer looking at YouTube as if the file server, which is what most people do. So, oh, here's a free way to do my video files, but there's way more to this, and there's an art to it. And I'm enrolled in a really amazing video ranking academy. I'll do a shout out for Sean Connell, because it's really good, and he's got the right approach that I'm learning how to master. But let's go, before we go into this, I'm going to just, for those of you who may not have been watching all the videos about the retirement crisis in the US and how wobbly the three legs of the traditional retirement stool have gotten. I'm going to go over that really quickly. And I'm going to use that to compare and contrast with where I'm going to take this. So one of the whole legs of that stool is personal savings. And the fact is that more than half of 65-year-old folks retiring in 2024 have less than $30,000 a year to live off of. And if you're going to live for the next 20 or 30 more years, that's a real problem. And if you've invested in the stock market, one of the things that a lot of folks have learned is the volatility and major losses. One of the little subtext is, if you do this, there's risk involved. And not only is there risk where people have lost a lot of money, but there are subtle and pricey brokerage fees that radically reduce people's nest egg. Wherever the stock market goes, they get their 2 or 3% on every transaction and all that, and that all adds up, particularly in interest. So that's one of the legs. The other leg is Social Security. And a lot of people say, "Oh, I'll just live off my Social Security," but the fact is that Social Security is at risk. There's more money going out in Social Security and less money coming in. And this year, because of how many people are turning, there are 12,000 people turning 65 and going into this kind of a traditional retirement framework, and realizing that their Social Security is not enough. There's not enough money in Social Security, and it's coming in. More money is going out and it's coming in. There's reasons for that. And if you watch some of their videos, man, in 1980, the government under Reagan said, "Ooh, there's a whole lot of money stored up in this Social Security trust fund. Let's borrow some money and pay for some other stuff, and we'll of course we'll pay it back." They never did. And so one of the things is more money is going out than is coming in Social Security. And some pundits say that by 2033, it could be out of money without further reforms. And then there's the whole idea of pensions. That used to be a stalwart of security for a lot of people. Companies would say, "Okay, if you work for us and you're a local person, we're going to pay you, we're going to pay you a generous pension." But then what happened around the 1980s, one of the people said, "Why are you guys spending so much money to these employees? We got this plan called the 401k plan," which really was a real windfall for corporations because they replaced generous pension plans and shifted the burden of retirement onto employees, and not enough money was invested. So companies could say, "Well, look, if you just do this, we'll match it," which cut that in half of what they should have been putting in, maybe. And a lot of people had navigated other things in life, so they couldn't afford to invest that much in their 401k plans. And that's saying the truth now, particularly now. And so let's talk about that's enough of the crisis. Let's look at the unretirement opportunity in the US. This is about working differently, alternatively. This is not about the conventional retirement that's kind of over after your honeymoon, realizing, "Oh, how am I going to pay for all this?" is over. So we're talking about creating the stable unretirement stool. So rather than not having enough savings, we're talking about new ways to generate net new revenue by learning. That's why learning is so important. This is part of this learning thing, empowering net new ways to make money via technology and innovation, maybe even through AI-assisted transformation. I'm doing some experimentation with that. I'll do this in a next video. So, and then there's Social Security. Now, one of the things is Social Security is paid for by a Social Security tax on payroll. So the more net revenue that you have, the more money can go into Social Security. So more money can come in than goes out, or at least to keep it afloat. And then it's necessary, absolutely necessary, to have tax reform. The poor pay more. That's a regressive tax policy, and there's so many write-offs and ways that people can, large corporations cannot have to pay have very little bit of pay here. So we need major policy change. We also need major social and cultural transformation, as well as eco sustainability. Wow, is this a challenge and an opportunity? So what we are already seeing, however, is the makings of an unsaid Green New Deal. Republicans didn't like that, so we have kind of a modified, you know, Inflation Reduction Act that has some features for climate and some incentives to transition to a greener way. And we have people talking about a fourth industrial revolution and about phased retirement, meaning that, hey, there might be some other things that you could do in new ways. I'm working from home with my feet on the ground, but I have a big reach, learning rich approach that I want to educate you on if you're interested to it. I'm also starting to use AI assistance in some ways to explore doing some of the work. So we're definitely talking about a shift, a major shift in consciousness. And this is being forced because the old stool is stumbling and the new stool needs to be built. But we can be front runners in building that stool. So, and this is where we can all thrive if we, do this major upgrade of creating a stable unretirement stool. So let me talk about my three P's and niching down to blow up. That's uh, an advice I'm getting from Sean Connell's video academy, ranking academy. Ranking means that they actually find you on YouTube, by the way, that you're can up be on the front page, and a lot of people will watch and subscribe and recommend and all that. But in order to get there, he has a really great exercise here that I'm sharing with you. It's called my three P's, and it can help you navigate your unretired life like it's been helping mine. And so, one of the first things that you can think about, and this has encouraged me to think about, is forget about the money for a second. What are you really passionate about? Well, what did you put on hold maybe in your life? Are you a writer? Are you a creative person? Are you thinking about your own business? Have you had, what do you really care about? And that's so important because you're going to have to stick with this stuff. So I did this with myself. And first of all, I'm helping myself navigate my own unretired life. I've been doing this for some decades, since 1997, starting at age 50. So if you do the math, you know that I've been navigating and continually learning. And so I want to learn how to do this myself. So I'm helping others navigate that with some skills and some proficiency that I've got. And I also need to help our planet. If we do not do a major shift in our consciousness and start adjusting our climate change challenges as climate action opportunities, we're in deep stuff, to say it politely. So that's what I'm passionate about. Then the next question is, well, what are you proficient in? And this is a question I'm asking myself. So I'm lucky. I've developed some proficiency in global communications. I'm a global communicator. Okay. And this is really neat. I'm doing this right now over Zoom, by the way. And I've been really, walking through the virtual door for quite some time, for decades, starting with television and radio, and then moving into computers and the internet they emerged. I've been through just about every phase here. And I'm also proficient in e-learning services. And I've really watched how um, e-learning is evolving and what it needs to have happen. I actually had a chance to work for a major company that had 12 locations, the world's largest ISP. But I learned that, wow, they're not as advanced as I thought they could be in terms of empowering their employees and reaching to the community and serving the planet. So I said, wow, this is good. And even though I was kind of experiencing some what I call age discrimination, I was lucky to have that contract work. wow, I can do this to run my own business. And so I have a decades long client list that I can refer to, and there are new clients that I'm adding every day. So the question then to myself was, okay, if you've got passion and you've got proficiency, then how can you create and develop a profitable business enterprise? Profitable communications on my part and profitable e-learning. But it has to be focused on this enlightened way. We'll talk about that. And so that has to do with helping you succeed. I'm focused on you. I'm focused on helping you get past feeling bad and to look at this as a whole new phase of opportunity in your life, not the end of life, but it's a whole new beginning that has a whole lot potentially more power that you can discover within yourself and in the planet and with other people. So that gets us to the next really, really powerful thing is if you learn, then you can begin to start earning. But the way you do this is not just the money, you have to earn recognition through service to people. It's kind of the law of giving and receiving. The more that you give to people, the more that you give of your your heart and your head, which is what I'm doing here. I really care about you, is to earn recognition through service. And if I do this on a consistent basis, then I can earn your trust. There's 1,000 videos to watch. And I've got to earn your trust through by providing consistently valuable content. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, just click on that icon at the below here on the lower right, and then you can be sure that this will help me and help you because it's going to be some great content. As I get more and more subscribers, I'll also have this is a brand new channel. As I get more and more subscribers, then I'll have also a notification bell that you can do. And there's ways to communicate with me through email and by visiting my website and all that. But I'm here for you to provide consistently valuable content. You know what I found is there's no channel for navigating your unretired life. And that's exactly what I've started as a brand new channel. So subscribe and weigh in with your comments and all that. Then earn followers and subscribers. That's right on time, what I just talked about. And if you serve people well, then they can advocate, hey, this Johnson guy over here has some right stuff that's really helping me navigate my life. You need to check it out. That's making a gifted referral. And then you can begin down the road to earn income through service. And I'm going to have another video right after this about ways to earn income through really wonderful service-oriented businesses. And once that happens, then you can create and earn and create impact through service. It's all about service. It's all about giving, and that's a really powerful second way to navigate your unretired life. Then the third way is once you got that going, once you start getting influence, you earn recognition, and this is kind of really working, then you can start to churn and burn. So what does this involve? It has to do with planning the work and working the plan. Hey, never before have I spent much time researching the internet to find out what it is that you might need. YouTube is the world's largest search engine next to Google itself. And I'm learning how to find what people are asking about, what they're searching for, what specifically they care about or need to know more about. So I'm then, based on that, I'm planning the work and working the plan. I have a whole framework, which I'll share with you later on, and to stick with it. Uh, what I've learned recently about this whole YouTube thing is you got to get 30 to 35 videos out there before the algorithm, before YouTube sees what you got and can then categorize you and start referring you to other people. So you've got to stick with it. And you got to keep learning. Wow, I'm a lifelong learner and I'm loving it. I'm a kid in a candy store when it comes to learning new things. And if you understood my background and how I've learned how to navigate major decades in my life and through job things and learning new technology, I'm going to share some of that with you. So you want to keep learning and keep churning and succeeding and keep the flame burning. A lot of people in YouTube, for instance, burn out. They just burn out. They don't understand other sources of power of human potential and ways, really ways to do this as smartly as possible. So you can get your own 3Ps exercise template by emailing me at support@newworldcom.com or texting us at 206-920-8067, and I'll send you a blank template and you can do this great exercise. It's really good. This is what it'll look like. You have a template and then you can then fill it out with your passion one, passion two, passion three. And I'll get, this involves thought. This is about going deeply into contemplating, wow, what do I really care about? This is a great exercise. And then you say, well, what am I proficient in? Wow. Well, what is your top proficiency that that you've got? And when the second one and the third one, check it out with somebody else. Ask your partner, your wife, your husband. What do you think about me in terms of my proficiency? And then thirdly, how will you profit by this? This is about business. This is about running a business. And in my case, how I was going to do that profitably. So what would be your revenue stream number one, number two, number three? And I'm going to go through that. Our next video is going to really be talking about new revenue generating possibilities in this now 21st century world that you need to know about and possibly even seize. So stay tuned for what's next. Learning more about net new revenue generation 21st century possibilities for navigating your unretired life. So this is really cool, and I'm really, really grateful that you watched to the end. Don't forget to email me or call, text me so I can give you that template and get going, and to just make some comments and even give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, in terms of this video, because the more feedback I get, the more helpful I can be. So thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you.